Hello, everybody. Yes, sir. Guess what today is? Today is a Teagues Tech Day. And man, we're excited about this one because we got a lot of good stuff to talk about. Some fun stuff, some silly stuff, but we got some serious stuff to talk about when it comes to this Alabama Georgia game. Today's lineup. It's going to have, like I said, a little bit of small talk with JT and I. And we're going to kind of talk about this week because it's going to be a big week, man. Trump's going to be in town. Game day is going to be in town. I'm kind of curious to see what JT kind of thinks about all this hoopla and all this stuff's going to happen out there. And don't know, what does that do for an atmosphere of a football game? I'm sure you guys want to know it. Then we'll have a little bit of fun, get JT's take on our one random thought. Then we're going to get into some film, right? We got to talk about the Georgia defense, um, and then their offense, and really tell you what we think on how we think this game is going to go out. So um, it's time to go ahead and get started. We got a little bit late, but we're going to go ahead and start Teague's Take right now. Yes, sir. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all. Great. Thank y'all for being here today. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now before you forget. Before I forget to tell you to do that, you guys are making us feel really good, boosting up our egos by following our channel on YouTube. Thank you so much for that. Thank you to everybody who's in on the Bama Standard, joining the Teagues Take family, and just supporting us the way that you do. We try to bring you all the best content that we can. And man, we got some exciting stuff, as I said, in our lineup. So, as I normally do, I need to go ahead and give you a quick run out about something. And I'm being so silly today. Typically, I give you guys something that may be a little bit heartfelt, a little bit more serious, but not today because, ladies and gentlemen, today I am going to identify as a white male for about a minute. Pretend that I got a full head of hair, and so I want to talk about hair just for a minute. So, why is having hair so much better than being bald? First off, hair is like this mood ring. You can rock the type of hairstyle that you like. I ain't got it, but you can channel your inner. I just rolled out of bed kind of stuff, right? And so let's not forget about all the products that people got to use when they're light skinned, right? Uh, what's better than spending an hour mixing and putting sprays and all this? JT, it's like a chemistry experiment, except you know you can end up with this hairstyle that kind of withstands anything, natural disaster. So picture this: you wake up in the morning and you just want to flip your hair around like you're auditioning for some shampoo commercial, right? People stare at you. And then this one ball guy in the corner says, "Hey man, I like your hair. What's up? That's kind of cool, bro." And now let's be real. Hair is great, but when you want to make a fashion statement, and you want to put on a hat, if you're bald, that's just to cut out the sunburn, I guess. But when you have hair and you put on a hat, it's an artistic kind of thing. So hair is not just hair; it's an identity, right? A source where people can joke on you, or you can just throw it on when you're being late. So whatever it is, if you got hair, man, enjoy the mane, right? And know that you're fortunate, like me, because I still got my hair, even though it's coming up bald right here a little bit. But anyway, that's my run out. And I'm going to go ahead and turn back into a brother real quick because I don't throw my hair around like some of you guys do in the chat. And I see there's a lot of chat, and I need to go ahead and bring in someone that I can talk to for a little bit. That's my son, the analytical one, the brains of all of this, Mr. JT. Somehow I'm gonna have to learn how to put this hand clap button on. So
I think it's
JT,
already on there, so I'll just give myself a round of
all right, do
applause.
that. Hey,
Guitar Zan had a good question. Where you were going with this, I
I
I
have
don't know.
nowhere to go with it at all. Like I said, I had a really good day at work.
Also,
JT,
Erica Badu would disagree. Um,
what? Oh, about being bald is a better
no,
thing.
No, she had a whole song that was "I am not my hair," as in hair is not an identity.
It is though. It is, particularly when you got long wavy hair or something. So even for instance, with us, all right, um, when no, we can't throw our hair around and all that kind of stuff. But tell me you don't get excited. You might not have ever had this. You because I don't know, your hair is not as good as mine, right? But
What?
when you get the waves in your hair, right, and people say, "Oh, I'm getting motion sickness because I got the waves rolling and all that kind of stuff." You know what I'm saying, JT? I mean, that's an identity because people say it's like watches, shoes, hair is part of it. I do think that. So no, it's a random thought. I see what you're saying, cat, and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. You know, when you start losing, I got just a little bit right here, man. That I guess I gotta fill that back in somehow. And I'm not gonna spray it. I'm not gonna do any of that kind of crazy stuff. But anyway, that's that's just kind of where I am. On that. So one day, JT, you're gonna have to worry about, or maybe you're not. No, you're gonna have to worry about it because I got the hair my dad has, and you're probably gonna have what I have. And when you're 50, 60 years old, just keep it long. Don't cut it too short, man. Oh, come on, Mike. Don't
Yeah,
do that.
Mike knows what's up.
Don't
Roll
do
Tide,
that, Mike.
James.
Yes, roll tide, everybody. Man, well, this is good, bro. What's up, homies? Cuts, my man, always in there. Cuts be getting down on that grill too. He be doing his thing. So, all right, JC, let me go ahead and get into this. Just a little bit about this game, right? So we're gonna be there. When's the last time we actually been to an Alabama game together?
The last time they played South Carolina at South Carolina, Najee Harris was still there. So
Bro, that's a shame, ain't it?
yes,
I guess your mom don't want to ever give up her chair. So, but I'm glad that we're going to be able to do that today. So we got these activities. No, this is not political. I'm not making this about that. All right. But you got a game that's going to be so high profile. Not only are you going to have game day there, you got former president coming in. What do you think about this part, JT? How much of a distraction can that be for players?
wait,
You know.
real quick. AK says you'll remember the stiff arm hurdle for a touchdown by Najee. Yes. Just in case you want to know where we were sitting, we were on that sideline, and I was like direct. The hurdle was directly in front of us, so it was a very fantastic play to watch. I think we were maybe 6 rows up,
Yep.
just
Yep.
just enough to be able to see over the players onto the field.
Man, it's so fun to be able to watch games and be able to get to games, and I'm really looking forward to this. It's gonna be busy. I'm a little anxious really because I'm like, okay, what time we got to be there? How much traffic is going to be? When you're trying to park, man. I'm talking. I want to hear what you got to say as a player when you have stuff like that, and it's so much energy around the game, but you got all these other distractions. Is it? Do you think? I'll give my answer, but do you think it becomes too much of a distraction when you have other stuff like that, or can you just focus in on the game and say, I just need to go play and win?
For me, I was able to kind of tune that stuff out. I mean, um, like I remember the first. I mean, it was just high school, but when we went and played Allen, and they had to bring in those extra bleachers, there were like 24,000 people in that stadium. That was the first time I was actually like getting heckled during warmups. Um,
Can you explain to everybody about that though? You just said 24,000 people at a high school football game. That's nuts.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a great atmosphere too. It was their senior night. It was also the day of Halloween or the day before Halloween. I can't really remember. Somebody can look up a calendar and figure out what Friday fell right before Halloween. So everybody in the everybody in the stadium had on some kind of weird costume. Um,
Yep.
so you're warming up in the end zone, catching balls or whatnot, getting yelled at by some teenager in a banana costume, and just like what is happening right now, and why are there people lined up against the fence? Just they so You think it's a problem. It's kind of weird. Even when we went out to Stephenville, you got all those dads there with the propane tanks full of rocks. The whole game. I mean, it was kind of like Mississippi State of just like random objects that they're making noise with the entire time. Um, and there were things around that too. There was, believe it or not, when we went to Stephenville the night before the game, there was a Klan rally at the stadium. So you just kind of you pull up on the bus, and it's 6 o'clock at night, and sun's going down. You're just kind of like, where are we at? Like, what is? Why don't I have cell service? And am I gonna be able to make it back to the bus? So those kind of things. They, at least for me, they didn't bother me as much as I thought. Like, once you get into the locker room, you come out and the national anthem is played by the band or sung or whatever, and all that all the stuff outside of those lines kind of fell away for me. As loud as mom was in the stands, I never really heard her because you're just so focused on what's going on in the on the field of play.
Maybe we gotta talk about that. What was your favorite thing that you like to hear? Defense.
I didn't hear much. Even now when I'm coaching, like, I do not hear anything that's going on.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't hear that as a player either, typically, but when I was sitting in the stands with your mom and she was rooting for you, that was the time I needed to go stand down by the fence. But just because. So yeah, I think he's right. I think most players probably can black out, some of those other distractions. It would have been harder for us, for me, I think, as a player back then, because we didn't necessarily, because we stayed in the dorm. And can you get this? We actually used to walk to the stadium, right? Just kind of almost like pros a little bit. Get
Well, I
there
mean, I did too, but our
on time.
campus was small, so
Yeah, but imagine walking across the university campus at Alabama and all the people out there.
mhm.
And we didn't have game day there, but there was distraction. You try not to be bothered, you know, going or coming from the stadium to get back. It was just so different. So I'm just hoping the guys are focused. That's all it is, and I know they are because it's really about the game, you know, and nothing else. Uh, okay, so I have my one random thought. Now I need to ask you about a random thought here because you're so big in technology. And it hits me in the face every time I see this. So we probably need to explain what happens to your camera when you move. So if you make a big movement with your face real fast, check this thing out here, right? Okay, what the heck's going on over there, man, with this moving
Yeah.
camera?
Well, I mean, the camera calls it AI. It's not AI. It's machine learning. But anyway, whatever. Computer vision, whatever. But it's I get to tell it like how much of my body to show. Like, should it be trying to look for a full person head to toe? And I like to use this when I do those talks, especially in Belgium, right? I'm standing up in front of a whiteboard or whatever, and I'm trying to record it. And I like that I can just walk around the room and it'll follow me around, since I don't have a person there that's going to shoot and edit these things. So I kind of have to do it. Yeah, much like we're doing right now, just on the fly. I got to hit all the buttons and do all the things and talk at the same time. So this kind of stuff helps quite a bit. And it ain't cheap, but it was definitely worth it. And I mean, I use it even now. Let's see which way I gotta go this way so that you can see the whiteboard and it will focus on the whiteboard for me when I'm up there drawing, which I guess I don't have to do on this show very much, but I do on Saturdays and Sundays.
Well, we get it right on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll give some thank you to some people who do that a little bit later. But okay, so my question I want to ask is Tesla, right? So now we're always talking about this technology, and you got this car that can drive by itself, right? And I saw
Well,
Michael. What? Well, let me finish. I saw Michael Kim talking about AI as the devil and all this kind of stuff. Well, what about cars like this where you don't have to be paying attention, right? And so, true story, I guess this guy is I don't know. I guess he's drunk or whatever it is, and maybe they fall him out of the club or something. Um, but he falls asleep. Car's driving. He's knocked out. They got the sirens going. They're trying to get him to pull over. He's knocked out. Car don't know nothing about no lights, so he just driving, right? So they're trying to figure out how to make this car stop. Don't are we going too far with this stuff, man? We're just
Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts about this. The first thing I want to say is, since Tesla no longer has a PR department, they are not doing a very good job with their, I'll call it marketing, where they call it full self-driving and automated driving or whatever it is, which is a complete misnomer. So there are 6 levels, because it starts at 0, computer science people, of driving levels, right? Of self-driving levels. Level 0 means there's nothing in the car. So your 1980s whatever would be a level 0 car. Level 1 is basically anything that has something in it. So if you had you maybe in the early 2000s you had that control where when you started to speed up, your music started to play a little bit louder. So that's level 1. And then level 2 is anything that has like adaptive cruise control, anything that can like kind of slow down or accelerate, which a lot of people have in their car now. Yes. Where we start to get in trouble is that Tesla's automatic driving is still at that level. They're still considered level 2. So just like you wouldn't hop in my Kia Optima and get behind the wheel and expect it to drive, that's the same thing that Tesla's supposed to do or is rated to do. So my thought is, in this instance, you still can't get behind the wheel and be drunk. That's not Tesla's fault. That's still a human problem of doing things that you're not supposed to do with tools that you have.
So I'm trying to figure out if you're saying the technology is causing this problem or the humans are still the problem.
I'm saying the humans are still the problem.
Yeah, of course.
Now, there will be a day where technology becomes a problem, but in this particular instance, the technology is not the problem.
Okay. Well, Michael Kim says Puff Daddy has that technology in all of his rooms. That's wrong, man. That was wrong. He ain't got none where he at right now. I'll tell you that. He ain't got no cameras in there, but whatever. Okay. Well, enough of the small talk. I think there's something else that you want to talk about right now before we get into this film.
Yes. So we want to give a thank you to our sponsor, Blackfriar Pub and Michael Kim, for supporting this show, because this is the way that we get our hands on the All 22 film that we're about to jump into right now. The other thing I want to mention is that we are going to start doing this thing called Fan of the Week. So if you're watching this recorded, what I want you to do is leave a comment on the video, not a chat for people who are in here right now, not a chat. Leave a comment down below on the video of what you think the score differential is going to be for this game and what you think the total number of points scored are as a tiebreaker, because the winner closest, and it's not Price is Right rules. So it's just the closest on the score differential. And if we have a tie, it'll go to total points, will be one of our fans of the week. And the prize that you get is to be able to pick a play from either this game or the scout film from our next game for us to break down live on the show for you. So remember that as we get into our film today.
Yes, sir. We're going to go a little defense first, like we're supposed to be. So if you're the head coach, JT, and you're getting ready to flip the coin, are you deferring? Are you taking the ball? What are we going to do?
I typically I would just defer because I want the ball in the second half. I like the idea of possibly scoring before halftime and then coming out and scoring again.
Yep.
However, there are some times where I feel like, maybe depending on how things have gone, you just need to go ahead and take the ball and try to set the tone. But um, typically, I like to defer. And
Okay.
actually, I don't even know why. In that case, I still don't really know why we defer. Why not just kick and just, or is that not the option?
Because
Because they still get the. If I say kick, they can choose to receive. Is that what you're telling me?
no, because then choose they can choose second half, so they're going to get the ball twice,
I see. Well, why is this even an option?
or they can pick which end of the field. So if you kick, they can say which end of the field do you want to receive the kick from, or do you want the ball in the second half?
This is unnecessarily complicated.
Well, I know that's why they don't always let your players pick because someone throws it up
Right?
wrong.
Yeah.
They've already asked the coach, hey, what is it that you want? Okay. All right, so we want to talk about this play. You guys need to make sure we're tuning in. I think we got 6 plays on this. May look like 12 because we got the end zone copy
Yeah. There's
as
six
well.
on this one.
There's 6. So um, I think JT and I kind of picked the same plays, but we're going to talk through a couple things. So let me make sure that you guys understand what's going on with the personnel here. So while I was looking at this, I thought there was a few people that we need to highlight. They're pretty good all around the board, but they're number 24. I think you say his name. Um, I don't know if it's Malachi or
Malachi
Maliki.
Starks.
Malachi Starks, pretty good dude. He's always up around the ball, safety type guy, but he's active, right? The nose tackle, big old dude, number 78, Nazir Stackhouse. We'll make sure we're pointing at him and looking at him, and then also their will linebacker. Uh, Shmiel, I don't know. You guys, man. Y'all mess me up with the way you spell these names. Smeal. What is that? Menden. All right, number 2. So 24-78, number 2 are a lot of the guys are going to be pointing out. So on this first play right here, JT, I actually thought it was interesting how number 2 and number 24 switched responsibilities right there. So I don't know if you can actually see the guy on the hash mark who is a linebacker who basically runs out of there to the defense to the middle third, and the safety behind
Oh,
him,
you talking about
directly
here?
behind him, drops down into the box. I don't know why. Now, I'm saying that because we got to make sure that Jalen Milroe is going to have to know what's really happening here. you know, because you got guys off the edge, you got linebackers that are running out to be spot players. That's one piece I thought was interesting on this, um, because it's different. I don't know. It's unique. I like it, but I know it can be confusing. Right. The second piece of that display is quarterback gets out of there, runs up the field, and Jalen Milroe is a better runner than them. So I'm sure as a defensive coordinator, you're always talking about don't run past quarterback like this when you're blitzing off the edge. Um, so it may create some running lanes if they're not sound in the way that they rush Milroe. Do you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I kind of figured this is why you would pick this clip. Now, kind of looks like they're playing a little bit of eyes technique here, just because this is a hot pressure. They're sending 6, um, which I
That's
guess is
always
nice. I mean, they pick it up, which is great. So that's a good job by the back, giving the quarterback time to get out of here. Um, but I wonder if you're going to see this kind of thing against Alabama, because I guess you're going to have Starks here spy, right? He's not going to have to. You can't have your linebacker with
run
his
out of there.
back to the quarterback running this way, and then not have this guy looking at the quarterback, right?
Yep. Yep. Okay. Well, that's all I really had on that one. Unless you had something, I just saw him take off for a long run. And it happens. We'll have some other things, but this is a good angle for you to see number 2 and number 24, and 78 all stacked, anyway, they're all three right in the screen for you. It's interesting. And we'll talk more about that defensive line a little bit later. So you can go to play 2 if you want. This next one is not necessarily how they covered up. I thought that from the back end, you probably can see this better, and then maybe we'll come back to the wide end. So they're running
Yeah,
the
I don't know
stunt.
that I like this tight front against this this surface here. I mean, I understand that these two guys are here receivers, but you got 4 eyes in here. Yeah, they're trying to close the B gaps. He's responsible kind of for both A's, and then you got athletic linebackers. Now, I say I don't like it, but that's because my players are not Georgia caliber players. We can't really get into a tight front or
Really. But
mid,
look what
and then
oh, that's right. But look what they do though. And then when we're saying that, you might not like it, but watch how it actually pans out. So the nose and the left they slide to the right. Guy loops around. The other 4 eye actually loops around. Kind of hits it late. I don't know why he waited late to go. Um, you know. So the thing I wanted to point out really about that is that our offensive line did really good. If you remember from the last film we showed, if you could go back and watch it, we watched how all of our linemen actually passed things off. So we didn't have free rushers like this. So I'm looking forward to them being ready for this. I think they're exposed a little bit because you see the aggressiveness of Starks, number 24, jump up. If this
yeah, but
is
look at this. I mean, it's probably a hold, and that might be where the flag came in. I'm not sure. But 2 here, like stepping up and then just somehow being
grabs
able to
him.
catch this receiver and then and then run with him. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're right. He's holding, but it shows his athletic ability, and that's another one why I was pointing out that's. I mean, he's right. He ends up right back on top of the dude where he's supposed to be. So it's really there's 2 pieces of that, right? For me, one, we're going to have to be good at picking up their line stunts because they run a lot of that, which you can see in these next few plays. But then I see some vulnerabilities that if we're patient, like we were seeing before last week with DeBoer and his offense, he's probably telling him you're going to see some of this stuff and some things are probably going to pop open. Well, Milroe might be able to catch some intermediate throws. I think he's going to have to throw intermediate passes to beat them. Okay, is this the next play?
Yes, this is the next play.
Okay. Why I chose this is really because of what they did at the top. So
Actually, I think I chose this one.
we both pick it. See, our eyes are very similar. So if you want to talk about your points, but mine was I'll let you talk about your points first.
Yeah, so I was looking at this because I was keying where's my circle tool here. I was keying this guy right here because this is a formation that is not unique to Kentucky. We do this kind of stuff all the time, right? And we're gonna send this guy across and maybe kick somebody out. It's kind of a split zone look. I don't know if this play is actually split zone or not, but the point is, this dude is actually just going to chase the tight end, and you're going to find that he is behind the line of scrimmage, untouched, just waiting for you to do something.
Yeah. See.
And your first thought is, oh, well, then you just, this is an easy pull for
you pull it. But no, that is
right,
not true.
because then he's coming out here. And then you got another dude that pops up off the screen, and this is. To me, I watched this and I was like, this is terrifying. If this is the look that you're gonna get with a wing in the game, where you have this, that's not going anywhere.
And it doesn't. And that's what I'm saying. That's pretty stinking good. I'm glad we're on the same page with that because when I saw number 8 show up, and I mean, there's no way Milroe can pull it because that is a pull read.
Mm-hmm.
So let me back up because JT was talking about split zone. So some of y'all might not understand what he's talking about when he's saying that. The lineman would go.
Well, actually, it's a counter.
It's a counter, yes, but for purposes of knowing what it was, typically the linemen, if you're looking at the screen, they would all go to our left, to their right, and then the wingback, who JT circled at the beginning, would go behind them and kick, and then hand the running back the ball in the same sense where he can look to cut back. That's split zone. All right. Make sure you put that in the notes because someone might be looking up split zone. But anyway, that's not what it is. So this is a very good play. This is where you just have to be patient and you say, hey, man, they got us that. Because if I'm the quarterback, you're going to pull it, but there's going to be two guys standing right there, and everybody's going to be screaming, what the heck? Why didn't he give it? And he gave it, and it still didn't matter. Okay. All right. Next play it is. All right. So I put this on here mainly because I wanted you to see how the safety at the top played. So looks like a quarter safety following the motion, but he pulls off and he cuts off this dig. This is, I'm saying it's high level. It's like they just kind of knew what he was going to be running. Now, at the same time, there's a lot of green space there, JT, for that guy that comes in motion. And this is why I think that he has to sit. Does he run it? Yes. Does he run a arrow back in, run away from the corner? Because I don't, there's just a lot of space. And you got to find that. And he actually has time to throw the ball.
Yeah, and they're green dogging too. So with who's that? That's number 2, I guess.
Yes.
This guy. So, all right, well, I ain't got no work, so I'm gonna go pressure. There's a lot of 3-man routes though. So I mean, clearly they were getting pressured a lot, right? Because they're leaving guys in the block, the tight ends in here to block, the backs in the block, and they're just gonna run a 3-man route. So I mean, that's max protection, right? That's 7 guys. One's got to throw the ball, and the other 3 are in a route.
Yeah, and maybe you see something totally different. The thing about it is why this is so interesting to me is that both teams have had 2 weeks to prepare. So everything that we're talking about is probably going to be in play, but I promise you they got some other wrinkles somewhere, whether it's on offense or defense, right? The other part of that is a lot of the throws that they completed were like these intermediate throws. So Milroe has to be accurate on these passes. You can't be late. You got to get it out of your hand and take those comeback shots, just like we just saw. What's up, Monica? Good to see you, fam. Okay. All right. We can JT, I want you to know she was roasting you a little bit last time too. She didn't want me to tell you, but I'm talking about it on the air while she was down here.
For what?
She came after you. So that's your people.
That's not nice. That's not nice. I'm gonna stop showing your comments on the screen when you get in here.
Oh gosh, you crazy. Okay. All right.
Oh,
so
is this the top? I think we're back at the top.
This is one of Alabama's favorite plays. I wanted this in here just because, again, it's just I feel like Jalen Milroe, this is going to be on his back, and we run this. How many times have we seen this? He's taking it for touchdowns. It's the same. It could be a pass, it could be a run, but I just think we're going to see some of this, and Jalen Milroe is going to run the ball off this action. So you get a lot of eye candy, motions. It's 2 guys going to the right. I don't know if you guys understand that. So the first guy goes in motion to the right. Then you got that wing back who basically trails him as like a second puller. And then you got Milroe potentially with the ball, or he can dump it to that guy. So I just think we're going to see this, especially if they're trying to blitz like this. So they didn't run any stunts, but they did blitz the backer. This just film study and trying to figure out when that's going to happen so you make the play call. It's going to be a good chess match, man. God, man, this is going to be a good game. Okay, is this the last one?
Yeah, this is the last one. This is one that I put in here because it just happens to be unbalanced where this guy is not eligible, and that guy would be, but I think there are a number of restrictions in college, so he's probably not actually eligible. But the point is, we kind of see the same. We see the same thing here with the defensive end and the split zone kind of look, where he goes inside, and 11 here is not. He's on this side. He's kind of just not worried about this tight end.
No.
His job clearly was take the dive. And you see that same look where the linebacker is going to sit out here for the read. He's taking the dive, and then we've got somebody else out here. And this ends up going for, this says, a gain of 15. But by the skin of its teeth, because if 11 just keeps running down here like he was probably supposed to and not worry about this guy flashing in front of him, this goes for a loss again. So
you got to get little.
I think Alabama's going to have to figure this one out on like what they're going to do to get this guy off the dive. And if they do decide to kick out number 3, like Milroe, if they decide to kick out here, he's going to go and pull it. Milroe's going to have to duck it inside, and he's going to have to make a guy miss. And that guy's very athletic. That's probably not a guy that I want my quarterback running, trying to make miss in a phone booth.
Yep. So what he's saying to everybody is really, we got to be patient as fans and watching this and understand that this defense can be built to try to stop Milroe from running the ball. So there got to be some kind of adjustment, when you have this kind of stuff. How do you get back to the other side with Milroe? Are you booting some kind of way? Is this just play action where you actually take a shot somewhere? Because 24 is still relatively close to the line. The guy back there who's trying to read, run, which he gets down in there. I mean, he makes a tackle, but the guy's pretty doggone aggressive, and somehow we're gonna have to take a shot over the top. I don't remember what the back end looked like. If you can get a post over this guy's head.
You have to get it out quick though.
Closing.
Michael Kim asked any concerns about Hurricane Helene. I looked at the map today. It seems like the model has it making it to Tennessee before the game starts, and it also has it missing Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. Supposed to rain there on Friday. We'll be cleared out on Saturday night, as you're saying. So not right now. As long as they keep the field together and not have it too slippery or wet for our backs to cut. So our backs are going to have to, they're going to have to fight for some yardage. That's why I was talking about Jalen Milroe and how important this is for him, that he has to have a solid game with his legs, but he also got to have a solid game running or throwing the ball, hitting those intermediate routes. Because if they are bringing pressure, it could, mean he's got to have to lean on his arm a little bit more. And I do anticipate that. I do think there's going to be a lot of design quarterback runs based on what I'm, seeing here, what Kentucky's doing, and we're a little bit more athletic. But if they're doing what JT's so greatly pointed out with, crashing on Jam Miller or whatever running back, and then having 2 overhangs essentially to try to get Milroe, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking like as a defense coordinator myself, I always think like, okay, what do I want my ends to do? Do I want my ends to take the dive, or do I want my ends to play the quarterback, right? And you usually figure that out by saying, who do you want the ball? Who do you want carrying the ball? You want the running back carrying the ball, or do you want the quarterback carrying the ball? Now, when you're playing Kentucky, the answer is obvious. Make the quarterback carry the ball. The answer is less obvious, I think, with Alabama, because you could say, let's just tackle the running back. We're gonna have it be a give read every time. Give it to Jam Miller. It's kind of, I think Alabama's kind of sitting and saying, pick your poison. Whereas Georgia might be saying, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to hit the ball away from Jam Miller and make Milroe carry the ball, not because they're not afraid of Milroe, but just because in those kind of situations where it's a read, they can say, hey, we can start putting hits on Milroe all game. Like, he's going to have to feel the presence of somebody in his face. He's not going to be able to just pull the ball and run for 40 yards anymore. And, you know, body shots over the course of an hour of game time is could be a little problematic.
Yep. So my prediction is first half we're a little bit slower, maybe on the scoring. It's kind of been our deal so they can kind of figure out what they're doing on defense, make some great halftime adjustments, and you know, switch up that running game. I don't think they show too much too fast because Kirby Smart's a great defensive mind as well. Okay, what is that question?
What problems do we face being that we basically have a man-to-man defense? I don't know that it's man-to-man. I think we still pattern match a lot, whether it's man match or zone match. I think we probably zone match. I don't know that for sure. But the problem that you have anytime that you're going to either play man-to-man or pattern match is that you're going to get a lot of you're going to get a lot of one-on-one matchups. The benefit of pattern matching is that the guy who is in the best position, granted, you have to run it correctly, but the guy who has the best position and leverage is the guy who's going to take the route. But you still have the issue of it's one-on-one. And if my guy is better than your guy, you lose.
All right, so let me tease it this way. That's an excellent question. Thank you for doing that. Make sure you guys stick your questions in there. But just in a moment, we're going to take a very quick break, like a 90-second break, because I want to come back and talk about this because I have some concerns about that, and I want to give you what I think about it and hear what JT says about it when we're talking about these wide receivers, in particular the slot receivers, and how we got to cover these guys. So we'll see you back in 90 seconds. George Teague, and I'm launching my own text-based coffee talk newsletter. My favorite part of this is that although you get to know me some, I get to share more of myself with you through this newsletter. It's going to come straight to your phone, and I can't wait to share personal stories, the highs and lows of my football journey, my work journey, all the things I'm doing in media, the passions that I have on and off the field. So I'm about inspiring, educating, empowering others through sports and beyond. Head over to joinsubtext.com/George Teague or go to today's show notes to join my newsletter today. Yes, sir.
Oh, whoops.
I like it. That just means we're back.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's good to be able to, you know, you're just watching these ads and all this kind of stuff. And we got you. Please sign up for the newsletter if you just want to get some insight. There's some things I put out every single week that only goes out through the newsletter, just different topics that I'm talking about. So it's kind of cool, I think, and I have fun with it. Another place that I'd like for you to go to is actually the Teague Family Scholarship, TeagueFamilyScholarship.com. And this is an opportunity where we raise money for someone at the University of Alabama, an athlete, so that it can pay, you know, get the scholarship money that they need to be able to attend school there. And I'll leave that into, you know, just a relationship we have with Tide in Texas. No, they're not a fundraising organization for athletes. They are for other students who want to attend the University of Alabama. They do a great job, and maybe JT can tell you a little bit about them too.
Yeah. The mission of Tide in Texas, the North Texas chapter of the University of Alabama National Alumni Association is to raise money for 9 endowed scholarships and promote the University of Alabama in North Texas. They accomplish the mission through various social, philanthropic, educational, and networking events throughout the year. And one of these events is their annual golf tournament, the Crimson Classic. This year's tournament will be held on Friday, October 11th at Woodbridge Golf Club in Wiley, Texas. To sign up or learn more about sponsorship opportunities, visit their Facebook page at Titan Texas or their website, titantexas.com. And don't forget to join them at Blackfriar for the Bama Georgia football game on September 28th, and look out for the special Beat Week promotion. September 23rd to 28th is Beat Week. That is BEAT, as in Beat Georgia. 1 week. It's a 1 week giving challenge where alumni, students, parents, faculty, staff, and fans are called together to show their support for these championship institutions and their students. Every gift you give pushes Bama closer to victory in this clash of champions, where no matter the outcome, on or off the field, we all win. So to learn more about that, go to www.beat-week.com.
Yes, sir. And we thank you. We thank you for support because they help too. When you're looking at those videos that we're about to show you here in a minute, shortly again, when we go to offense, all those, I don't know, did they actually see them on the screen, JT? The down and distance,
Yeah, they do this
offensive
week. They normally
defense,
don't,
yardage
but
gain, and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, well, even if you don't see them, we get to see it. So it helps us with tendencies, the things we can break down when we actually can tell you the truth about it. We don't have to guess because we got the film. And because of their support, we are able to get real data um, about those. All
yeah.
right.
So thanks to Titan Texas for supporting the show. And that leads us again to Georgia offensive review. So once again, thank you to Blackfriar Pub for sponsoring the show. This is the way that we get our film. So I want to give one more shout out to them. And one more reminder, fan of the week. So I've been seeing score predictions in the chat down here. That's all fine and great, but remember, in order to enter to be fan of the week, you need to leave that score prediction, your score differential. That's Bama plus something, Bama minus something, and your total points in the comments of the video, this live stream, or the recorded portion on the Teagues Take channel. So subscribe, do that. You'll be entered into the fan of the week. The winner will get in contact with you, and you'll be able to pick a play for us to break down either from the Georgia Alabama game or our next opponent, which I don't even know who it is. But if you decide that you want to watch that game and there's something in there that you want to get broken down, if you're the winner, we'll do that for you live on the show next Wednesday.
Yep. And let me highlight what JT said and make sure you guys know that because we are multi-streaming. We're on the Bama Standard and we're on Teagues Take platform. You need to put these comments in the Teagues Take platform because if you're sticking it over there, we're not seeing it. We don't know it. You need to at least pop in over here and Bama by a million. That's funny. Make sure that you put the comment over on Teagues Take page. Okay. All right. So let's get into a little bit of Georgia offense, man. This is I think we got 10 clips.
Yes, 10 clips
in this one. So I think the first one, this is really, again, it's not really for me. So JT and I, let me preface it this way, right, JT? When you're head coach, and I've been a head coach for a long time, 17 years, I was a head coach, and most of it I was always on the defensive side. But one thing I had to learn as a head coach was more than just being a defensive back like I would play most of the time. Typically, when we have our skill positions, you know what wide receivers are doing, maybe what the linebackers are doing or the running backs, but you really got to dive into what's the offensive line and defensive line are doing when you're head coach in your skill position. So I spent a lot of time in film rooms, clinics, and stuff, really learning about what they do up front. So that's why I tend to try to bring as much as I can to the linemen because I've studied so much as well, right? So when I was watching this film, this clip, go ahead and go to the back end for me real fast. I wanted to highlight number 71. He's their left tackle, right? That he's pretty stinking good. Ernest is his first name. So when we were talking about some of our woes, when you got a pass rush coming up, if you can let it go, he actually take his kick slide, get into those guys. And remember when we were seeing people go underneath our tackles? That doesn't happen. This is that power down we were talking about. Did you see that slight little
Mm-hmm.
thing there? So he gets back, gets engaged. When the guy tries to go inside, he powers back down so he can't get inside of him. Now, that creates a lot of time for Carson Beck to be able to find a wide receiver. So
Now, and I meant to kind of give a little bit of a scouting report before we actually jumped into the film. So I'll do that right now. Since we're talking about the O-line, there was a breakdown that I was able to kind of count on, like how many, well, like where do they run the ball? And it's very clear which side of the line is better than the other side. Not that one side is bad, but there was one side that Georgia and their coaching staff clearly think is the better side. And that's over here because 60% of all of their run plays this year have gone to the left of the center. Most of them have actually gone off tackle this way. And then the next kind of closer and closer this way. And I mean, 40% still go to the right. So it's not like they never run to the right side. But the point of that is they really love the left side. They think the left side is their best side. And they are grading much better in pass pro than they are running the ball. So Michael Kim, as he just had a comment here, we need to get to Beck. That's a tall task. These 5 dudes up here,
they're good, boss.
They pass pro up with the best of the country. They are not letting people. They're the bouncers. You know, they're kicking people out the club quite often, and really I think this is why people don't actually blitz them that often.
Too much pressure on them. Yeah, it ends up with too much time.
Right. However, though, Carson Beck under pressure and Carson Beck under blitz is a whole different dude. He is much worse when people are in his face. He's much worse when blitzes are coming. So yes, Michael Kim, you are right. We do need to get to Beck. I'm just saying it's a lot easier said than done with these 5 up here.
I want to show you how he misses some of those when he has a little bit of pressure. What some guys that are wide open, as a matter of fact. So that was really my main take on that play.
Yeah, because I mean, even with this, it's the same play here. Just how much time he has. This is, for instance, this is an 18-second clip. Just in case you didn't know, ball is snapped at, we'll say 6.5 seconds, and it's thrown at 11 seconds. So he stood there for a good 5 seconds, and he still really didn't even have any pressure. I don't really know why he escaped that way, but yeah, he didn't. There's nobody in his face for a good 5 seconds there. And then the end of this play, I like this one too, just because how much space the back has here catching the football, which means not only do we have to rally, but we also have to get the guy on the ground. So we talked about tackling before, and we're gonna have to do that. This is a lot of grass to have to cover, and when we get there, we got to get him on the ground. We can't be missing, letting him break a couple of tackles, because that'll be devastating all game.
Yep. You're right. So this next one, I think this is another pass, and I was really wanting to harp on. So this is a slot receiver that I was saying. He's not. I mean, he ends up being the number 2 guy. He's running down the field wide open. Now he missed him, but you know, this is kind of what JT's saying. Once you start getting a little bit of pressure, and I don't know why he rolled to the right and got out of the pocket.
Yeah, and it really seems like it doesn't have to be much. Like, I'm not saying you got to be hitting the dude. It kind of seems like he sometimes will see ghosts, I suppose. I mean, this big dude's not a ghost, but they're 4 yards apart, right? And he's changing direction's not very good by this.
I mean, he's open right now. I mean, when we get to the back end.
Yeah.
You'll see it.
Yeah. Right now, this ball should be leaving.
Yes. Now, well, it's another thing that we always talk about that we got to be better about is those wheel routes. They did switch these off last week. At the top, where the guy goes up. I guess you don't even call it a wheel. It's probably just a switch route. But that guy climbing up, and you got your corner trying to cover both of those guys because there's nobody in the middle of the field. But when you look at the back end, it's kind of a cool angle for you to see that Beck just missed him. He had him. He's looking at him. He sees him right now. He just needs to set his feet and just throw it. And he just missed. So we need to have some of those misses too, because that could be a huge play if he gets him. So to me, it's going to be how well we play on those slot receivers like that, and who do we have chasing them. Okay, this is the next one.
Yep. Yeah, so I put this one in here. This was another hot pressure, right? So they're sending 6 here, right? So in the back end, they're playing eyes technique, and what I call eyes technique. So the safeties are sitting kind of flat, because the idea behind these hot pressures are the ball is going to have to come out quick, right? So this is not ideal because he's sitting flat. The ball doesn't actually come out quick because they're not getting pressure as quick as they thought. And you get this seam running right past the safety.
That scares me, man. I mean, just what we've seen in some of the other games. I don't, because you don't have any pressure. And if we're, like you said, pattern matching and we're late turning or something.
So to me, this is not actually, I highlighted the safety, but to me, this is not actually the safety's fault. This is the corner's fault. Because I'm pretty sure, again, I don't know. It's not like I have Kentucky's playbook. But these guys are both kind of doing the same thing. And we've got a pole runner here. We've got a wall 2 guy. This guy's sitting in this hole. This guy's sitting in this hole. And these two are responsible for getting back. And at least how I teach our guys is to look at the eyes of the quarterback, right? So he's clearly looking this direction. So you know that you are the guy in conflict. But
get back.
Not only do you need to get back, but you need to lean on number 2. Why do you need to lean on number 2? Well, for all my math guys, yes, this is a shorter throw. He's got to put air under this to get here. You can work this way and then speed turn and get back to the other one. But if you're just going to hang out here like he does over number 1 and then just.
No, you got to try to go get to him.
Right. No, that's not okay. The ball is going to get here quicker. If we just switch places, if you moved over here first and you made him throw this ball, we're talking about a different story because he's getting hit now. Right? Yep. He's getting hit. Even if this is a comeback, trying to throw this on time in the right spot while getting hit in the face is much more difficult than throwing this to grass.
Yeah, you just let it fly. Just let it get in the air and make it run away from because there's nobody back there either. So I don't know. We're gonna be conscious. I mean, the other slot was kind of.
Oh, and then he gets over there and takes a bad angle, and then not only does he not cover the right guy, then he lets 6 get outside, and just not great.
We got to be prepared for this. And so you get the angle when we're talking about these linemen. So if you can see them kind of passing off and switching, the left tackle, you can see them communicating and passing. It's a little late on their 3-man twist over here. I love this stunt, by the way. I got my eyes. That guy totally destroys Carson. Good Lord.
I call this one. I call this Supersonics X. And it's great because 17's actually stepping up here, taking another man, right? So this is that's great. I like that.
All right, slot guys. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm gonna be looking for all game while we're sitting up in the stands. I gotta be looking at slots. Okay. Let's see. What's the next one here?
This is a pass. Gain of 20.
Do you see how fast these slot guys are? I was looking. He's not the slot again. He's the outside guy with the cut split.
Yeah. That's scary kind of speed.
Yeah, but the main thing that I wanted to see here is one again. Look at the pocket. He has a lot of time. Nobody's in his face. Nobody around his feet. JT and I have already talked about that. They're good up there. But this is a tight window throw. He took a shot on this. This safety made a pretty good break on the play. Um, but that that break right there to go get in there, that's a confident throw by
Mm-hmm.
Beck. So you're gonna have to, yeah. Saab does close very fast. I agree, but you got to get the ball out. Um, in this case, I mean, he's looking around at what. I mean, that's a damn
Yeah,
good
it's on
throw,
a
man.
rope too. I mean, that's an NFL level throw, ain't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Great catch. I mean, that's a jeez. So I mean, for anybody to think it's just going to be a cakewalk with these guys, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can say all the things of I think I've seen in the chat. The receivers don't scare us. They don't have their tight ends are not as good as they were last year. The defense is slightly worse. My thoughts on this is a very efficient football team. Like they might not be flashy, they might not be. And that's actually kind of what scares me a little bit about Alabama is how efficient Alabama actually is. Um, it's kind of like the basketball. To me, it's kind of like basketball in the three balls. You live by the three, you die by the three. When it's not falling, when them long shots are not falling, it makes for a long night. Georgia has been very good at limiting plays over 20 yards. I think they didn't have any technicality. It got to 19 yards. I mean, you got to draw the line somewhere, right? But this team, they're efficient. They're clearly well coached. I think it's going to come down who makes the most mistakes, right? I mean, most of the time it does, but like I think mistakes made are going to be at higher magnitude, right? You're not going to be able to have 12 penalties for 125 yards and
Oh, I
expect
was
to win
about to
this
say,
football
cut
game.
out the penalties. You can't put yourself behind the chains. Losing yards, offsides, post penalty, post play penalties, anything that's going to make you go backwards is
Oh,
not
and
great.
and you can't have three linemen go out of the game because their helmets came off on the first snap of the game.
Strap it up. Strap it up. Hey, I like WDM's question about the DBs get beat a lot. Press man technique or what. So a couple of weeks ago, we actually talked a little bit about technique. Sometimes we're sitting flat footed. Um, sometimes we're late turning. Um, I think in general, I would say they just have to coach up these young guys a little bit more and understand. What I tell people is that as good a technique that I had or I thought I had when I played at Alabama and I got to the NFL, bro. If I was just a split second late in turning on some of these wide receivers, it was over. And you're playing against high level guys like this, you can't lock your hips out.
Yeah,
Um,
or use the wrong hand on a jam.
yes, which we did point out. You can't do that. So that is a technical issue. That doesn't mean it can't be fixed. It's not necessarily scheme. I'm not saying this to say that we don't have good players. That's not it. It just you have to be right and you got to be sound
Mm-hmm.
all the time, or it could turn into a big play. One small mistake, you're chasing. You know.
Yeah, one small
Uh,
mistake and it might cost you six, right? I mean, we're looking at is this the same play here? I mean, we're looking at this, and let's just say he takes a bad angle here. He's either a split second late or he's a split second too early, and he actually doesn't get his hand on the receiver. This might go for a touchdown, right? I
right.
mean, the margins are slim when you're playing high level opponents.
That's right. That's right. Okay. What's up next? Let's see. This is probably. It was kind of weird on how the film was kind of clicking like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
This must be the running play. My man, ETN. We talk about running here to the left.
Yep,
Uh,
off tackle.
again, you don't know. Like you said, the percentages are pretty high up here, but they
Now,
watch this thing down. Go ahead.
what we should point out is that at this point of the game, uh, 71 is not in there.
Oh yeah,
That's a new tackle,
yes. Wow.
and kind of doesn't matter.
No, and especially when you got a good running back like this. I
Mhm.
wanted you to see his burst and actually how he makes this guy miss. He's just slippery. I don't know, that's a term that we can use. I mean, he finds a hole, he jumps past this dude, and he gets down. But that's a super athletic kind of play, and he's fast too. Now this guy can get it. So
Yeah,
when you're
you got to
talking
ask
about
number one where his
using
ankles are.
yes. So, you got to have people running to the ball. You can't. I mean, they slanted left. I mean, it's a great call by Kirby and the gang, but this guy is a threat. So we got to be solid up front. We're going to have to disengage. So we talk about what do you do with your hands, shedding the blocks, keeping your head in the right gaps. You can't get reached. Making me thinking about the uh, Dallas Cowboys and their lack of
Oh my
ability
god.
to contain or to
That's
stay
the
in their
game
gap.
plan, man. Just get to the edge and then like profit, I guess.
Yeah. So and that's a great point. But this guy has ETN has a serious yards per carry average. All right. So I think we moved on to this next one again. It's the slot, man, JT. This guy is they don't
Ooh.
throw it to him. The guy at the top, but he's freaking wide open, like right now. And Beck's not even pressured out. Maybe the officials in his way and he can't see through those stripes straight down the hash, but I think he could drive that in there.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I mean,
I'm
this is more
only
open than the other ball he just threw.
yes, so I'm pointing that out just again, I'm going on the slot. So if you're asking me, what is the thing we got to make sure you got to be conscious of everybody, but you can't have slot guys doing this. They're going to be on safeties. You got to figure out: are you playing nickel? Who is that guy that's going to be covering this? How do you have a runner? Do you have a linebacker running up with him? What do you do? You play quarters and try to put
Well, if you're gonna play true quarters, that's gonna be either Saab or Malachi is gonna be at the one to take this.
yeah, and it's just I think we got to be conscious of that. That was my uh, kind of thing on this because he still has time. This is just a 4-man rush.
Yep. But as we kind of alluded to earlier, you got a lot of time. You dumb down to the back, and now you have to make
Got to
tackles in
make the
space,
tackle. Yep, you got to make the play.
right? You
Okay.
you can't you can't let ETN get out here and then shake a linebacker and get loose.
Yes, they can roll. They can roll. We got to have crowd noise at the doggone game. Make sure y'all are there. Yeah, I think you can put this one on there. Man, this big set, man. You got to be in the right gaps. Now they
Mm-hmm.
actually run it to the other side, which this from a defensive standpoint, you got to know who has these backside gaps, and they're blitzing. Just you can't take yourself out of the play. Coach of Kentucky right now, that guy coming off the edge who just runs past the play. He's trying not to get hit by 73.
Yeah, I
No,
mean, and this that's
there's a window.
pretty good right there.
Yep. And lucky he stepped out of bounds because it actually goes over and hurdles over this safety a little bit, and then it looks like a touchdown, but they caught him out of bounds right there. Right there, as a matter of fact. So you got to be we just got to be solid, man, everywhere. And that's why I love this challenge because if there's a game where you're going to find out where we're really at, what kind of team we are, this is going to be the one. Because you're playing a dang good football team, and this is going to say a lot about DeBoer and does he have these guys ready to play? Can they withstand all of this? What about the pressures of the game? We've seen it in other games, but this is a team that I don't know that you can just let them hang around all game. Where we were with Central Florida or South Florida knows, and it's a tight ball game, then you kind of take off a little later. I don't know that that's going to happen with. You're going to have to play 4 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
These guys.
And we gotta be disciplined. So if this is our guy, if this is our defensive tackle, get him on the screen right here. It's gonna be our guy. Know what your job is. Your job is dive. Your job is not him. You look how big you are, man. Even if they gave this dude, if they give this dude the ball, you're not catching him.
You
so
ain't catching him.
Just take the dive. Just take the dive.
Skirt. Yep. So they're powerful up there. Strength is in that line for sure, and we're gonna have to play. So, do we have 3-man front? Are we playing a 4-man front? Is really gonna, it's gonna be. See, are they gonna have that linebacker really close up in there? Okay, so this is one of the things that I tease on Twitter and everything else, and it's really I want to talk about the defense on this more than anything. Now Carson gets out and makes a play, but I want to talk about this defensive play. Okay, so go ahead and get it to where they're lined up. So in basketball, we're always talking about the pick and roll. Just stop it right there for a second. Okay, and this is a very high level defense that they actually run here. So who I want you to highlight is the guy right inside of
The 2 I?
73. No, right inside of
Oh, and 73.
73
4I.
on defense. Yes, him. So what they run here is absolutely fabulous, JT. So this is what I'm just calling it a pick and roll. We call it a pick play. In the pros and everything else. No, he's actually gonna pick 73. So he smashes into him, and there's a guy that's going to be looping around him. The guy to his right
Oh,
is
so he's going to
loop
be
around.
out here?
No, he's going to hit the 7.
Oh, okay.
The guy inside of him is going to loop around his outside of him, but 70, the guy that went in straight is going to roll or fall back into the quarterback. Right, so he's creating a little bit of space so 56 can't get him when they try to. So, or I'm sorry, it's the other guy from the outside. So you see where he actually runs into 73. 73 is trying to now he wants to try to come back to pick up this outside guy, but he can't, and we're already inside him. Now he misses a tackle, but this is a fabulous play. This is what they try to teach Michael Parsons and all those guys to be able to do that, to create this pressure. I love this. I know you're going to try to put it in on your defense or whatever.
We're not that good.
But you can run it against guards, anybody that has to loop and try to do some things. So when we're talking about pick plays, I don't think they talk about this enough as analysts on TV, but that is good stuff. I haven't seen that out of Alabama's defense yet. I don't know that they're going to try to steal that, but it's something that you can teach and tease and try to put into it. So that's why I put that in here. One, to give you the education of what a pick play actually looks like, because you're like, what, man, why he just run into him? Well, it's just enough to throw him off so he can
space.
fall back in. Yes. So nice job, but good job by Beck getting out. And I don't know who he's throwing the ball to. Maybe we get a free pick out of that. Okay. I think we got one more play.
Yeah, well, at least. Now this is
y'all
it.
for
This is the
hanging
last
here.
one.
Okay. This is not necessary to slot, but they kind of switch, so he ends up being in the slot. It's my last time talking about the slot. Cover the damn slot, man. Right? So are we switching? Is this going to be a safety on him? What is it? It could be a zone like this. You got to get in the space, but he finds him again. So we're talking about running left. I'm talking about covering these slots. I think those are two things we're gonna have to be good at, right?
Yep.
Making
And
sure we're
and
stopping the
this dude
run.
breaks the cardinal rule. If you're gonna go for the ball,
Better
you
get it.
better get it.
Better get it.
Because if you just dive on the ground, just
Yep.
giving up free yards.
So I want y'all to look at that. Not only do you need to leave your comments down here, and so you can become the fan of the week, and let us talk to about a play for you. I want y'all to watch this game and really, I don't know, analyze what we're saying. What do you see? Are they going to be throwing to the slots? How much should they change? Because that's what I do, right? No, we're not 100%. We've been right most of the time, or have seen some of the tendencies. But I know if I'm watching that game and I start seeing them slot guys get open, JT, I'm going to have a damn fit. you know. So I don't know. I'm excited though, guys. I know we're talking about this, and please know that we always look at this from a coach's perspective, from an analytical perspective, and try to be fair about everything. Um, I'm still picking Alabama to win this game, JT. I think we score some points. I have total confidence in DeBoer and the offense, and having 2 weeks to be able to prepare for this. You can see what he's done. Just would you say? Would you say with Roman? Where he's making things intentional to try to beat,
Yeah, when I was
man
talking about
coverage.
yes, Nick Sheridan and Coach DeBoer, I was saying with Wisconsin, they were. It was not, and to Ephraim's point, it to me it was not that we just have guys that are just better. Maybe we do, yes, but you can tell in a lot of the big plays they had, they were schematic. They weren't always just, oh, well, this dude's super fast. Like, yeah, we have some of those, but there are some other ones that are just like, hey, they out leverage you. They got +1. It was a great play call, and the defense was at a significant disadvantage.
Yes, yes. So I'm excited about that part, just to see how it unfolds. What do the emotions look like? What does he have up his sleeve? This is all the stuff that we want to see, and how uh, creative can we be, particularly if we start slow and things are going, and then you're having this chess match. So I'm going to have my coach's hat on, and I'm itching just to really kind of see how this is going to go on both sides of the ball, particularly with Coach DeBoer, and how we respond at a home game with all the distractions, with everything happening there. The field is going to be packed. Everybody's going to be there. Everybody on TV is going to be watching the doggone game. So, um, all right, man. JT, how do you feel about it? I gave my deal. If y'all want to know, JT doesn't like to say about how many. Oh, I don't know. I guess he will say what he thinks the port differential will be. He doesn't necessarily like to give numbers.
Yeah, it's always hard because you mean it's just there's so many things that can go wrong.
Well, guess I got one number in here that I think I gotta have, and that's number 31. I think Alabama scores 31 points against them. Now, some people might say that's high. I got it, but I'm still going with. I think our here for vibes only. I like that. Okay, so mine was actually 31-24 is what I'm
That so
picking up.
everybody putting your score predictions in here. Make sure you put them in the comments on the Teagues Take channel so that you can be in the running to pick a play for us to break down next week. Also, we'll also pick somebody who shares our show on the Teagues Take channel on various social medias, whether it be Facebook or Twitter, because I refuse to call it what they call it now, or wherever. Just make sure that you also um, tag the show in it so that we can see that you did it. We'll pick a random share from there, and then um, Joe, and when we will pick whoever has the closest score differential and total points. Joe Long says that I list myself as a DC and I look like I'm a junior in college. Thanks, Joe. But I am 31 years old. I do not. I am.
You still could be a junior in college.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I guess I could be a junior in college, but I do not have any eligibility left. And the kids that I coach are now are about half my age now. So
That's right. That's right. He ages well. We got that good skin in the family too. Got good hair.
Black don't
got
crack.
good skin. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, yeah. All right, man. Well, I think it's been great. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to heading to Tuscaloosa. I'm going to be down there a little early. JT got a game on Friday. He got a coach in. I'm going to miss it, but I'm not going to miss Teagues Take next week. Make sure you don't either. All right? Find us next Wednesday. Same place, same time. He's JT. I'm George Teague, and we out.